Hey, podcast listeners, it's TJ.
And Julie.
And in episode 67 of the Pixar Post podcast, we are going to talk about our spoiler-free review of Toy Story 4.
That's right, Toy Story 4. We saw it tonight.
We did see it tonight, so we're going to do our early review of it. It's going to be spoiler-free, so don't worry about it. I guess I could say that there are a few things in here that might be considered spoilers if you haven't watched like any of the trailers or anything like that. Yeah. But if you've watched the trailers that have come out, some of the TV spots, I would say it's safe.
Yes, because we're not giving away any plot points that haven't been already released.
No, we're not looking to do that by any means.
No way.
The other thing is we're also going to continue an interview session. We released a post on May 28th, I think it was, of the Outside the Box session, which is all about the antique store, Second Chance Antiques, in the movie. And it's going to dive into how the team created the exterior, how they did the interior, as well as then transitioned into filling that building, which is just absolutely crazy. So that is the other portion at the end of our review that we're going to talk about. Mm-hmm. But what do you say we dive in and start with what we normally start with, which is some Pixar trivia?
Dun, dun, dun.
If you've watched any or listened to any of these episodes before, you can watch our Toy Story 4 spoiler-free review on YouTube. This is the first time we're doing video tied to our podcast, but we're only going to do just the first portion of it. If you do want to listen to the secondary portion, that you can pick up on the podcast itself. But for our review, we wanted to put this on YouTube as well because boy, oh boy, have we got some good stuff to talk about.
Whoa. Yes, we do.
But the trivia is not really trivia this time. I figure, you know what? We can't do trivia.
I know, and plus I cheated. I looked.
I left my notes. These are the normal like notes that I pull up for people that are looking at this on YouTube. I have 4 pages of like single space notes.
I know. And normally he keeps these under lock and key, so I can never ever look at them. Mm-hmm. But tonight, when he was setting up this desk and this table thing, I looked and I was like, "Oh, that's not trivia. They're just questions."
Yeah. So
like, I can answer those.
So what I wanted to do was actually just ask, to kick things off, what is your favorite of the new characters from Toy Story 4?
Oh my goodness. Okay, this is an easy one.
Okay, an easy one. I like it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so my number one is Forky.
Okay.
I love Forky. I won't really go into it too much, but
we'll talk a little bit about the character and some of the safe things along the way.
Yeah, so Forky, and a close second is, okay, I'm wearing the shirt.
Benson.
Benson and the Dummies.
Okay.
It's like his little henchmen. I'm not going to talk about the scene. We'll talk about it like the week after the movie comes out when I can speak specific scenes.
Yeah, so what
there's a specific scene with the 4 ventriloquist dummies.
So what I'm actually thinking...
And if any of the filmmakers...
Hey, hang on.
I don't know. If any of the filmmakers are watching, it's like an aerial shot.
Oh, yeah. So what we're going to do, what I'm thinking is right now, this early review is coming out on June 13th. What I'm thinking, though, is that since the movie comes out on the 21st, I'm figuring either the Sunday the 23rd or Monday the 24th, we'll probably have our hangout, our live hangout, where we get everybody together and do a YouTube live stream where we just talk about, here's everything, here's all the nitty gritty details. But that way it gives people opening weekend, because if you can't see it opening weekend, we can't wait forever, people. We got to get going here.
Well, next week you're seeing all 4 of them.
Yes. Is anybody else, we're very interested to see, is anybody else going to the marathon where you get to see Toy Story 1, 2, 3, and 4 in order? It's like an 8.5-hour day, and I am so excited.
Yeah, he's doing it. I can't, because Leo, I don't think Leo would sit.
No way.
He would.
No, he's not going to be able to sit for 8.5 hours.
Be like, can we go to the park? When's the time to play at the park?
Yeah, he's going to want to do other stuff for sure. Yeah. I mean, you can't expect a kid
too long to sit in a movie theater.
To sit quietly for 8.5 hours as a 5-year-old. Yeah. That's too much. But you even said yourself, you're like, I'm not sure I could do it either.
I don't know if I could do it. That's a long time.
I'm a little worried about it, just in terms of like, am I going to like nod off or something? Like, 8 hours of sitting in the dark is going to be interesting.
Well, it's hard to... I'm not like a binge watcher of like shows and stuff,
right.
So I think that's why.
Right.
It'd be hard.
Right. Yeah,
certain
I don't know.
Shows, I guess I could.
Yeah, we'll see. But Yeah, so back to the question here. So my favorite new character, it probably has to be Forky as well. I mean, he's a scene stealer. He got the most consistent laughs in the theater.
Oh my goodness, our son could not stop laughing.
Oh yeah, giggling the entire time.
Every time he was on.
Yep.
There was a couple scenes with these guys, with
Benson and the dummies. Yep.
That kind of make you jump.
Yeah, he had several jump scares.
Oh, and it was classic. Oh my gosh, I wish we had like a video camera just on him, because he had a tray of popcorn, like a kid's tray of popcorn in front of him in one of the scenes. I'm not going to talk about it, but it jumped and he went like this. And it was just popcorn all over him.
Yeah.
And he just looked, and then he started giggling.
Yeah, because he looked to you for like assurance. Like, is this okay? Right. Yeah. It was funny.
And I looked at him, he's got popcorn all over him. Just because he really jumped. It was just funny.
It was great. It was great. There's definitely those moments for sure. But Forky, I think, is my favorite. I think he was the crowd favorite. I wrote this up actually a little bit later, but I'll mention it now. So for anybody watching this, you're going to be able to see me like read through these things, which is totally different for us as well.
Yeah.
But Forky definitely got the most consistent. Like I said, he got like roiling laughs. Like, like before the water is fully boiling, every time he was on screen, somebody was giggling or there was like a soft laughter that would build a little. But I think, and tell me what you think too, I think the biggest laugh of the night goes to Duke Caboom, though. When near the end of the film, I'm not going to say what it is, but at the end of the film, he does something that gets a big laugh. And I think that was actually the biggest like burst of laughter.
Okay, so yeah, I guess you're right. The Ducky and Bunny, though, got a lot of consistent laughs.
You're right.
I mean, big laughs too. I'm not going to go into the particular scenes, but they got quite a few.
Well, they got me probably the biggest.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I definitely lost my mind at one point. I was very excited about it. But before we get too deep into the details, what about the returning characters? What did you think about, don't go into the details yet, but what was your favorite of the returning characters? So, I mean, it could be anybody from Buzz, Woody, or the rest of the gang, Rex and Jesse and Bo, or anybody like that.
I mean, I do love Bo Peeps. I like her transition, like her transformation.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm going to say Woody.
Yeah, me too. From the returning character standpoint, I think this film drives home Woody.
Although Buttercup might be a close second.
Well, he's got a lot of great one-liners for sure. But Woody, I think if you look at all the movies, this movie has his biggest character arc. And I think that at least to me initially, I'm really excited to see the movie marathon of all four movies, because then I'm going to be able to put some of these other questions that I'm going to pose in context a little bit more. But to me, I think he has his biggest arc in this movie of a realization of what he needs to do and how he can best serve people. So I think, or other toys. So kids. I think, kids, toys, everybody. I think he just has a bigger arc in this one than the others. So that's my take on it. So yeah, we're in agreement on Woody.
And our son, his favorite character, we asked him when we left, or when we got out of the movie.
Yeah.
And he said Giggle McDimples was his favorite, followed closely by Forky.
Yep.
But he said his overall favorite character is Woody.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he said he liked Giggle McDimples because of her good laugh, like it made him smile. And then the fact that she helps rescue pets, which is no spoiler because obviously like she's part of the Pet Patrol, of Minneapolis. So I think that's really cool that, he connected with her as well. But just because of like that sweet reason of, she saves pets.
That was his reasoning.
It's so cute.
It was really cute.
So yeah, we'll be interested to see what everybody else's thoughts are. So if you're listening to this or if you're watching this and want to tell us, let us know in the comments down below or send us an email, info@pixarpost.com, or any of our social media channels. Let us know what your favorite new character and favorite returning character is. We'd love to hear that. If you're listening to this on the 13th again, like right when we're launching this at noon Eastern on the 13th, you still can check out not only the movie marathon, but if you happen to be in France, you can see at the Annecy International Film Festival at June 14th at 4 p.m. France time, you can still check out the movie there.
France time.
France time.
I'm sure it's
Yes.
some kind of
It's
standard
European
time, but
standard.
I like
I
France time.
I think it's actually just GMT. I think it's a general mean time. So
No, France time.
France time.
Hashtag France time.
So yes, so let's see. So I talked about the fact that we're going to do our spoiler one, and we're going to do either the Sunday the 23rd or 24th. The big issue I'm having now is that we saw it today, the 12th, and I have to wait 8 more days to see it again, and then we're going to see it again on launch day. We'll probably go with Leo again.
Yep.
But yeah, now we got to wait again. I hate having to wait one more time because now I have to, instead of all those things that I'm like, oh, I want to see this again, I have to wait and hope to remember that that's the moment that I wanted to see again. Whereas like normally when I've seen like some of the movies like Cars 3, I went twice in the same day because I'm like, I just got to see it again and clarify this.
With Cars 3 and was it Incredibles 2, you saw them both in the same day because you went like after work one day.
Yeah.
And you saw it in like regular, and then you saw it in like Dolby Atmos.
Right, and then IMAX.
For like 3D too.
Right, and then 3D.
You like saw like 3 different viewings.
Yeah, not in the same day. The most I did was 2. Yeah. But I could do 3.
I know. Well, you're about to do 4.
Well, because I go in there with a notepad. It's over there on side grab. It's too far. But yeah, I go in with a notepad and I put it on the armrest, or in today's terms, I couldn't. So I just put it on my leg. I cross my legs or whatever and jot notes on little things that I want to talk about that populate these notes. So what do you think you give it on a 1 to 10 scale? This is a tough one on the first seeing because you have like emotional ties. You have like questions still because you haven't fully adopted and analyzed everything. I tend to rate it at a level and then it usually goes up a little bit.
Same here.
Yeah. But what are your thoughts?
My first viewing though, I would say I'd give it a solid 8.
Yeah, I say 8, 8.5.
Yep.
Yeah, if we're allowing halves.
Yeah.
There's so many things that are great about it. Like we talked about, there's so many laughs. There's so many like big moments. It's a roller coaster.
And it's a full story. I
yes.
mean, it's seamless.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It feels like you're not like sitting there going like, oh, this was unnecessary. Like we've heard people say like, why did Toy Story 4 happen? Toy Story 3 was the biggest ending. Other people have said similar sentiments, but what did you say when we were leaving the theater?
I said that it was like the most unexpected film that I didn't know I needed.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like I honestly, it's like I didn't know that I needed this film. And
I know.
It's like, but I mean, we won't go into the details of it, but the first 5 minutes of this movie are breathtaking.
Oh, visually, yes. Without it. And story-wise.
And story and everything.
Yeah.
And wow.
Yeah, it's great.
I mean, that first scene was probably one of my favorites of all Toy Story films.
Yeah, all 4.
All 4.
I totally agree. I mean, I mentioned it before, and I have this in my notes here after we get going a little bit, but I'm going to have to really start to dig around here. But Bill Reeves and Bob Pauly, again, I mentioned this, I think, in our last podcast, they had said that first opening scene with there's a rainstorm. I mean, that's not like a spoiler.
Yeah, because we've seen the
it's
clip.
just raining. Yeah, and if you've seen the trailer again. But they said they used most of the effects budget on that opening like 7 to 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. And, is
it even that long of a scene?
I don't know. You're right.
It honestly is such an awesome scene. It seems like it goes like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it might be.
Yeah,
I was
recall.
just like glued to it. It was really,
yeah,
really
it was amazing.
Well done.
It was amazing. And visually with the rain, the way it interacts with everything, we talked about it on the last podcast. I'm not going to go too deep into it here, but the way that it interacts with everything, the way when it hits Woody's hat, it's like dispersing off of it as it would. It's actually like rain to a toy was much more impactful, especially a heavy rain like it is in the opening sequence. It's more impactful than it would be if it hits us. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, when it's hitting the characters, you really feel it hitting the characters like you would expect it to. So, you might think like, oh, did they waste that money putting it all at the beginning? But absolutely not.
Oh, no.
It
awesome.
It's one of those scenes that you feel like it's going to win like a visual effects award, I bet.
Oh,
the VES award.
Yes, I think so.
It's got to be up there for one of like those best animated sequences. It's so good, and I'd love to see how that was all boarded out and everything.
I was just
like
gonna
that.
say I'm wondering who like storyboarded that one.
I know it'll be
There's
interesting
another
to see.
scene too. I can't say it, but I would like to know.
Okay, yeah, I have a couple of those
I have
too.
a couple ones that I'm curious who boarded them and everything like that.
What about your order? Do you think would be your order of the Toy Story films now, 1 through 4?
Oh man, I don't know.
These are big questions. But this is what everybody's going to be asking, like, where does this fit in and why? And you kind of, now that I think about it, you did say something about it. You mentioned that you felt it was kind of like unfair to rate it because it's truly its own separate story.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I
agree.
with myself. I forgot I talked about that when we were driving home today.
Yeah. So you did. You said that, and I actually forgot it when I was writing out the questions. But
I do. I feel like it doesn't fit. Well, because the first 3 were still so much about Andy, and I feel like this is like Bonnie's journey.
We'd released a video on YouTube as well that has the director and producers. So it's Josh Cooley, Jonas Rivera, Mark Nielsen that talk about some of their insights into Toy Story 4. And one of them is Jonas Rivera talks about Andrew Stanton, who did the original treatment for this film. And he said, everybody thinks that Toy Story 3 is the ending because it was such a great bookend. But it was a bookend to Andy and Woody together. Mm-hmm. Whereas Andy left and went off to college, this is Andy's closure. It was Woody's beginning with Bonnie. So therefore, that was as Jonas Rivera said, the foot in the door to allow us to have the discussion to look into this and all that other stuff. So I thought that was really cool. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was a great way to kind of look at it. And I think it opened my mind, and I hope it opens other people's minds a little bit that are saying, this is unnecessary. I don't know why they would do this. They're going to ruin it. Because I'm going to tell you right now, you see it, you're not going to feel like it's ruined.
No.
It's great.
It's awesome.
It's big laughs. It's high emotions. It's a roller coaster, but it's a good roller coaster. And there's literal roller coasters because it's at a carnival.
Well, I didn't see a roller coaster, though.
Well, I guess there's like
I'm just kidding.
the spinning one. All right, fine. So after the intensity, this is one of the things I wrote. After the intensity of the intro, you get hit right with the nostalgia. So you get the puffy white Toy Story clouds against that blue background, and it kicks in with a familiar song. And right when that happened, I was like off to the left of the theater a little bit. I immediately looked up to my right and started looking at just the glow of the screen off of everybody's face. Mm-hmm. And you just saw...
just smiling.
Like, just everybody was just so like, this feels like home all of a sudden.
Right.
It was really cool. It was really cool to see that. So that part was really nice to catch how people were responding to that. Well, I thought that was nice.
You kind of mentioned that, and it's kind of funny because that's how Leo was looking at the theater.
Yeah.
And then the first thing I thought of is, like, when we first saw the original Toy Story film, I was in high school, but you were just graduating high school.
No, I was in high school still. I was a junior.
95?
95. I graduated in 96.
Oh, okay. Well, so we were both in high school. But this is Leo's first time seeing a Toy Story film in the theater.
Right.
Because he's 5. Just turned 5. So
right.
And him just looking and smiling at it and already knowing the songs, already knowing the characters. And
which is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I was ecstatic that he got to see a Cars film in the theater as well, just because of, how much we want to share that with our kids, which is why these movies do so good, which is why they make sequels, because nostalgia sells. And we talk about it all the time on our live hangouts and everything like that. But yeah, it's one of these things that, like, I was excited to share Cars with him, but I didn't realize how excited I was to be able to have him see a Toy Story film as well, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. You're right. That's a great point.
I just kind of, that's what got me.
I also
and then how much he was laughing.
Yeah,
and like,
it was great seeing him just
with
giggle.
With the characters, and that was really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll also talk about just layout and direction. I think that the camera angles that were in this were fantastic. There was scenes that were really pushing the limits without being like extreme. Like one of those iconic ones is when Woody and Buzz are kind of fighting, and like the globe hits the corkboard, and the push pins come flying down in the first film.
Yep.
And you see like, and it does that undershot zoom in to Buzz Lightyear.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this one has those kind of moments as well where you're like, oh, that's so cool. Like it's just.
And you mentioned the editing when we were leaving.
Yes, I said that this is definitely an Axel Getty's film. I know that their director obviously plays a part in how this film is cut and what happens to it. But Axel Getty is usually like, from what I've seen him work on, he works on pretty fast cutting and keeping the pace up. He doesn't let scenes sit for a long time. And
but there's some scenes that go, some story gags.
Well, story goes for a while,
Yeah.
but they're still cutting quickly.
Yeah.
So I feel like the way that they're put together, I really like his style as far as how he does that. So I think he does a great job with that. And I did comment on that. Yeah. As I was getting the handle to unlock the car.
I know, to get back in the car, and he's like, gosh, I really wish I would have gone into editing.
Yeah.
He goes, I really want to be an editor.
I mean, we all say that every time. Like you're like, I want to go to story, and then we talk to somebody from another department. We're like, let's all go to there. Theme parks.
Now.
I mean, it's such a cool thing to be part of, such a great creative process, and it's so exciting to see it. I mean, you want to talk about all the graphic designers and everything like that. There's so much that you can do at Pixar that it's just so cool. So, so the new characters. So Forky again. We've heard so Tony Hale talk about the fact that he has to learn everything about the toy world. So Woody eventually, the part that I really liked is that Woody has to. What we predicted in our live hangout is that Forky is used as a method for Woody to explain what it means to be a toy. And I like some of the callbacks to the original film, like where he yells at Buzz, you are
a toy.
You are a toy. And he has to say that same thing.
Child's plaything.
Right. He has to say that same type of thing to Forky as well to try to get it through his head, but from a different angle. Like he's not delusional. He just doesn't understand. He's like a child. I thought that childlike mentality really works well in films, especially with comedy.
Well, I can't really say anything. But, yeah,
gives away too much.
I don't want to give away. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'll save it.
All right. Yeah. Till either the Sunday or Monday after. We got to figure it out. You guys let us know when you want that to be. Ducky and Bunny. We already kind of mentioned them. They're funny. There's no surprise with Key and Peele doing the voices. How great were their vocal work?
Can we talk about the vocal casting?
Yes, absolutely.
Because, wow.
Yeah,
vocal casting.
It was great.
I think, Forky is probably my favorite vocal cast because I think Tony Hale is perfection. And I'm not going to talk about Buzz and Woody because obviously they're awesome.
Right.
But Forky was amazing.
Yeah.
But Gabby, holy moly.
Yeah. She was great too. I mean, very unexpected.
Yes.
Not unexpected because we thought she'd be great.
Yeah.
I didn't think she'd be that great.
Oh, yeah.
She's amazing.
Great.
Yeah.
Really
good.
Yeah, she makes you like happy but uneasy and like,
it's perfect. I mean, it literally is like, I thought Keanu Reeves did a great job
I did too. Well, and then Key and Peele were awesome. Well, they're amazing.
They're a hilarious comedic duo anyways.
Yeah.
And it works out that they're two characters that are like stuck together. So they have to be like a comedic duo.
Yeah.
And the way they play off of each other is exactly as you'd expect. It's great.
And then Giggle is the perfect.
Yeah, she's got a great voice too.
Yeah. Well, I love her voice. We've talked about Allie's voice a lot.
Right.
But she's like the perfect like helper. Like she like helps turn Bo's head in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kind of make her think about things.
Yeah. And Annie Potts, the thing I wanted to talk about with her too is that I like how take charge she was. I can't talk about one thing that I'm really like hurting inside about that I want to get out, but I really liked how she was like, because she was always the voice of reason in Andy's room. And then, once she went over to Molly's room, all these other kind of things, she was always like this extension of reason.
She was always in Molly's room.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was so cool that, how she still was the voice of reason, but with a lot more, not like in a rude way, but like, no, you need to listen to me kind of way.
Yeah.
And it didn't come across as, stuck up or bratty or anything that you could, or pushy. it was really well done, like how they wrote her character. I mean, between everybody that touched this film and writing it and pulling things together, Stephanie Folsom did an amazing
strong.
job. Yeah, it was super strong, but without being over the top. I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, Duke Caboom, great character. I liked him. I thought his design was great. I didn't know that I was going to like him as much as I ended up liking him.
Yeah. And like you said, the audience was loving him.
Absolutely loving it. Yeah, there's a part where they said it on the red carpet, so it's not really that big of a spoiler, but like he's kind of a crybaby. And it's just,
you know what? I didn't get that vibe.
I think you were looking at Leo at one moment.
Oh,
Did you see the part where he was like laying and like his legs were like kicking, like he was having like a crying fit tantrum? It might have been the popcorn moment.
It might have been a popcorn moment.
Benson, we loved that he actually had a couple noises.
He did.
Not a lot.
And I don't think we can say who voiced.
We're not going to say anything about it yet. We will later.
But we suspected.
Yeah, we thought it might have been the case, and we were right. Woody.
Oh, man, did I love Benson and his guys.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
So
much. And I can't wait to talk about that scene. That, like, was my stuck-out scene. Because it mirrored another movie.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well,
I can say the movie I think it mirrored, right?
Sure.
Finding Nemo.
Right. Yeah, there was an element of Finding Nemo.
There's a scene of Finding Nemo that I felt the ventriloquist dummies mirrored.
What did you think about the mix of the characters? Like, did you feel like we got enough of the original gang?
Yes.
Without giving away too much, do you feel like we got enough of them? Did you want more?
No, I think we got enough. I didn't need more. I liked it how it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally agree too. Because I felt like, although it's always nice to see even more, I didn't feel like they were neglected.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
And I mean, like I said, like Buttercup had some good one-liners and
zingers.
Yeah. But he's usually not in it as much. So it's, you heard from all of, Bonnie's toys and then Andy's toys that are now Bonnie's toys.
Right.
Yeah, I thought it was good for me.
Yeah, I think so too. How about the story? Let's talk about the story, because we kind of talked about the characters and a couple of those story elements in there. But my opening thoughts on just the story element was, overall, it was a very tight story. Like you said, it was seamless. It had a big cast, which I love. It was fast-paced, but it still allowed for moments of calm.
Yes.
There were a couple elements that I'll talk about on our full one that I wanted a little more of. But this, like we said, it had big ups and downs. I loved that the story not only put Woody in a tough situation because of Forky, because, you've seen in the trailers that Woody's kind of responsible for Forky. So I kind of like the fact that as Woody is in or out of scenes, I thought it was interesting that the gang, the traditional gang, kind of looks to Buzz as the next line leader. And they're like, what do we do? And he's like, bah, bah, bah. So
yeah, and how they handled that
is great.
Was great.
Yes, and fans...
That was a really good story.
Yeah, and fans of Jessie are going to absolutely love her involvement in the film.
Yep.
So that's great as well. Yeah, lots of good stuff. But I really liked how they looked to Buzz, because he's kind of like, Buzz and Woody. But then, Jessie kind of nudges her way in there and helps him out, kind of like you expect. Like, he needs a little bit of a helping hand sometimes. He might be tough, but he needs a little help.
Dolly
has a major,
has a pretty decent role.
Yeah, very strong in it as well. Okay, so
there's so much we can't
we know.
say.
So I'm going to talk about this, but that's because we know that that they obviously have to at some point, right?
Oh, yeah.
So,
but you just can't say.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about how or where, but the one thing I want to talk about from the story element is Bo Peep and Woody. We know that at some point they're obviously going to meet again.
Yeah, we see that in the trailer.
We see it in the trailers.
And you
wow.
You had told me how, because you saw this moment at Pixar.
Correct.
When you went for the press event. And you said it is wonderful. I can't even say.
It's beautiful.
And so when it happened,
what are your thoughts? Because I've already kind of like.
Yeah, so I haven't even told you. Like, we didn't talk about this. But like, when it happened, I was like, oh my. I like was sitting there and I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like,
Wasn't it such a brilliant way to make it happen without feeling forced or unnatural in any way?
Yes.
Wow.
It was like perfection.
Yes, that is one of those moments that I have to know.
I don't even know
who did it. Who came up with that idea?
Well, and what's crazy is like it's the whole story. I know, sorry. It's that if it got like set back. If it's like everything leading up to that moment and then that moment happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was beautifully done, written, the lighting on it.
Oh, everything.
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 That's all I will say because I don't want to give anything away.
I know. You guys have to see it. And again, sorry if this sounds like we're stunting ourselves. We should probably like highlight some more stuff without teasing this many things. But obviously part of an early review is to get you enticed to go see the film.
Yes.
So you got to. You
will not be disappointed with that scene.
Yeah.
So many scenes. So I don't think I was disappointed at all.
Yeah. And the other thing I'll say is in this review too, we're not even going to hint at anything in the final act. We can't because it gives too much away. But it's one of those elements like, you've already heard Tom Hanks and Tim Allen tease that it's tough, it's rough. These are heavy moments. And it is. There's elements that I found hard to like swallow and other elements that I was extremely happy about. There were like those big laughs that countered those heavy moments, which is what Pixar is known for. If they take you down too far, they got to lift you back up with a little bit of like a light humor. And I think they did a fantastic job at blending all of that. So I think from a Toy Story, a story standpoint, I think it really did a nice job at coming full circle on this story that you didn't know, like you said, that we necessarily needed.
That was a film I didn't know we needed, but we needed.
It feels great.
Yeah. Can we talk about the Easter eggs?
You want to talk about some of the hidden items? Let's jump to those.
Okay. Oh, I'm jumping ahead.
Yeah, so I was going to talk about the details, then the music.
We'll wait.
Now the Easter eggs, I'm not going to talk about too many.
No. I just want to say like the main ones were there.
Yeah.
That people always look for.
Yes. I have a couple things that we'll be able to talk about and one that I want to share because it's too good not to. And it's not that big.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll hold it. Okay, so anyways, the details though. So the intro is amazing. You must see what they do with the Pixar lamp. Do not be late. Do not come in late.
Yeah.
You must see the intro to this. It's wonderful.
Stay till the end.
Stay till the end. Yes, that's actually how I'm ending.
Okay. Sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay because I have a couple extra things that I'll say there, but definitely, yes. Be there early. Stay through the end. Begins with a thunderstorm. We said the feelings, the sounds, the reflections, everything is amazing. We already kind of touched on that. Other things just to notice about the rain as it's coming down, like the front of a front door in a house has like an overhang, or their house does, I should say, has like an overhang where there's like a little lip and some shingles. So as the water's running down the front of the house, it disperses. Mm-hmm. It's literally running perfectly off the sides of that as you would expect it to, and just how it's splashing and coming off of there. I know this is super geeky and way into those details, but
it's a beautiful scene.
Yes. And
it's like stunning.
Ren Kleiss, who's done many of the sound designs for these movies now with Lucas, it did this as well. And I can't remember who else it was off the top of my head, just because that Ren Kleiss name stood out when we were going through the credits as they're going way too quickly. I wish we could like slow them down.
I know.
But I mean, there's a moment with like, as the rain is hitting the car or metal or a coat or Woody's hat, even a cardboard box that's out there. It's stunning how the rain sounds on everything. I mean, it's just amazing. The layered nature of this film and the audio it's amazing. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. So we talked about that. One of the other things I want to talk about just real quick on the details, that was a total geekery moment. The inside of Bonnie's bifold closet doors, so yes. they open up, they make a little V shape. In this area, like where it opens on the back end, you see the exposed hinges. Those are brass hinges on hers, and they were clearly wood doors that were painted white. I loved the fact that you could see like brush strokes as they were going on painting the inside seam of that door, that you could see the white paint going over the brass or the bronze or whatever that material was. It looked like a bronze one or whatever, but it looked like you could see like that brush strokes of white going over it. Exactly as it would be if you're like, it's the inside of the door. Who cares?
Yeah.
Just paint it. I mean, let's not tape off the hinge, like it's just, wow, do they think of everything? I mean, they talk about it all the time. Nothing is free in these movies. They take nothing for granted.
No.
Nothing. I mean, you can see some of the screws being off center in those hinges too. It was just gorgeous. So look for all those kind of things. The last of the details I'll talk about, and then if you have something detail wise, I don't know if you noticed something that really, like, I mean, you talked about the storm and all that kind of stuff too, but the other one that really stood out to me is in the antique store, they're walking behind some of the aisles. There's a pegboard, so you've got like all the holes that are in the board, and there's light that's coming in from the front side of the antique shop. I don't know if it's from a window or another artificial light source, but as Woody is walking by this pegboard and you've got all these holes, you can literally see the shafts of light that are coming and like drifting across his face as he walks through these. And it's like only every other couple, because you've probably got like a post of
something hanging.
Yeah, or like a leg of a table that's in front of it. Gorgeous. My God. So the fact that they put those lights behind the pegboard just to get those teeny little moments like that. I always pay attention to that lighting stuff. You're going to freak out about anybody that doesn't like the lighting sequence in the opening, get out of town. and then if you don't notice these subtle things, the way the light reflects off of all like the amazing colored glass bottles in the antique store is
the antique
stunning.
Store is very
stunning.
Beautiful.
Yes. Visually, I mean, there's no...
The whole movie actually is like visually breathtaking.
There's no surprise to any of it. We know that Pixar does a great job at it, and they did a great job at it.
Yeah. Even something like the antique shop, which you would think is like dark and dingy, and it still is because of like who's there and stuff. It still has these moments of just beautiful brightness. And I mean, I think that's kind of like how Pixar plays with light, kind of like an MU where Mike's in the shadows and then Sully's in the sun, and I feel like they always kind of play with light that way.
Oh, they definitely do. There's a great moment in the third act.
I know, don't say that.
Okay, so how about the music? What did you think about the music? So I thought it was good to hear the final mix, because when I saw this at Pixar, there was not the final audio. It was temp music that was part of it. So to hear Randy's final score is always a joy. It's always a privilege to be able to hear what he's thinking and what he kind of does, and how he wove the films together is just so seamless. But did you have standouts?
Okay.
Or just thoughts?
Okay, so I was so involved with watching the film. I heard the one about Forky.
Like the original song.
Yeah,
the
because
vocal
he did
song.
2 original songs.
Yeah, Randy Newman has 2 songs that have vocals. I Can't Let You Throw Yourself Away, which I actually thought from like that video that we put on YouTube. Sorry to like kind of like keep going as you were talking. But yeah, on YouTube, we did this video of Randy Newman and like his thoughts on the scoring process. And the way he kind of sings some of the words in that, it sounds like it's a slow, like sad, sullen song. But it's actually like, I was shocked. It's like an upbeat song.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be a little longer. But
so I heard that song, but I did not hear his rendition of The Lonesome Cowboy. I don't remember it. I obviously heard it.
I don't think he sang it. I think it was just instrumental.
Okay.
And then I think the Chris Stapleton did it in the credits. But you're right. I don't recall that he did the vocals.
Did I not hear that? Like, was I just like so
right,
like engaged with the story and what was happening on screen? Because like when it ended and I heard the Chris Stapleton version, I'm like, wait a second.
Did I even? Yeah.
Did I hear it?
Yeah.
So.
Did you hear anything? Well, it's like Forky's theme. That was just amazing. Like when he's born, it's just this gorgeous soft piano.
Yes.
Born when he's made.
Yeah. But it is kind of like he's born.
Yeah, in a way.
The Meet Forky clip that's out there. It is like a newborn. And then like the Toy Story gang, I've kind of talked about this. I don't know if I wrote it in the post or if I omitted it, but in like the Toy Story gang's all like the siblings meeting a baby for the first time. And kind of like Rex pointing out, why are his arms so long? And it's
he doesn't say why. He's like, look at how long his arms are. He's jealous. It's a typical Rex jealous.
I know, but it's just also like kind of pointing out. I don't know. I just felt like that's like the siblings meeting like a new baby.
Right.
And just kind of how Forky is and he progresses and stuff.
Mm-hmm. For sure. The other element of the music that I wrote down, in my notes, was when Woody sees Bo's lamp in the window. Again, that was in the trailer. So he's walking by the Second Chance antique store and all of a sudden he sees like her lamp and the reflection of it. And that was a wow moment of Randy's score for me. Just amazing. The other thing that I wanted to know, and I want to know why Randy chose this, is when Duke Caboom is telling his story. And again, if you've seen the commercial, the Duke Caboom commercial, this is no surprise. But when he's telling the story of Rajan, his kid, when he was in Canada on Boxing Day and opened him up, as he's telling this story, it's like this sad tale, and it's an accordion. It's like a accordion and string piece, and I wonder why he chose accordion. I love it because it adds to that like French Canadian kind of flair. Not that they're known for accordion, but I mean like it just adds to like this different feel than you would expect. But I really love that. And in much the same way, here's something that I can share too, that I was like, was this by accident or was this planned? In much the same way, Duke Caboom is kind of ruined by his commercial. In the first Toy Story, Buzz is, ruined by a commercial. Now, granted, the difference is that Buzz Lightyear was delusional and he didn't think he was a toy. Duke Caboom knew he was a toy. He just didn't realize that he couldn't do all the things that were in the commercial. But I thought that was interesting that the commercial kind of came back into the fold again.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the music is always a joy for me to be able to hear. Any other thoughts that you had music-wise? I think the thing that you did mention, though, was just about the fact that you're hearing all those cool callbacks. A couple other people have mentioned in comments as well, and it just feels so good when you're there. You get that like, you're welcoming back into the fold. But people talk about the fact that at the intro of Toy Story 2, you hear that dun 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 dun. You hear that going for Buzz Lightyear when he's like in the Star Wars kind of world, the video game. That music is in there too.
You hear a familiar theme at the end.
Yes, which is fantastic as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the music is great. Randy did a fantastic job. I think everybody's gonna love it as well. So yeah, some of those hidden items. Should I mention that one?
No.
Okay. All right. So I'm not gonna do that one. There's a couple that are safe because you could kind of expect them there.
Then the three staples, you can like say that they're there.
They're there. Yeah, you've got Pixar ball, many instances of like a Pixar ball look. There is a physical Pixar ball though, which is cool. You have the Pizza Planet truck. I'm not going to say anything else about it.
And A113 is
A113. Yeah, but I'm saying I'm not going to say anything about Pizza Planet truck.
Yeah, no.
A113 is definitely there. There's a Dynaco gas station, which I thought was like a cool thing because that had been there. It made me wonder if it was actually the same location as it was in the first film.
Oh, I don't
because
know.
they're still in that same general area. I mean, I know that Andy's mom moved, but it was close enough.
Yeah.
But anyways, it made me wonder.
And there's a lot of Easter eggs from like the Toy Story tunes.
Yes, lots of those. We nailed one of them in our hangout.
Yes, I did. As soon as I saw it, I was like, I know I was right.
Yeah, and in fact, I saw that on the window.
Yeah.
It says chicken cobbler. So good. I also noticed that Giggle McDimples, and I don't know if this is like just me trying to think too deeply or not, but when Giggle McDimples jumps, it kind of sounds like P.T. Flea when he hops.
Yeah.
Pew, pew, pew.
I think it's just because she's little, so
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's the same noise.
Yeah, and as you alluded to, definitely stay after the credits. It's not like one of those like big cut scenes like where you're getting a whole bunch extra, but I still think it's almost better than one of those little cut scenes.
It was good.
Yeah, and whereas Brave offered the touching tribute to Steve Jobs at the end of the film with the Will-O-the-Wisps, this film offers two amazing tributes as well. One for Don Rickles, of course, the voice of Mr. Potato Head, and then also Adam Burke, who is a beloved animator at the studio that passed away as well.
Yeah.
So that is just absolutely, I mean, it's like one of those things where you even said, I was hoping they were going to do that, especially for Adam.
For Adam.
Yeah.
And there's a couple other like Easter eggs that were hidden within the film, which made me, we never met Adam, but we've like seen all those tributes and stuff.
Right.
Can I say it? Like the the little
The Easter egg?
yeah, that was in from the studio.
Yeah, I think I included it in our podcast
Okay.
in the last episode as far as the sub interview that I did with Craig Foster
Yeah.
and
So there's like a bar within Pixar or like a
oh, that one.
that one.
Oh,
I'd say
okay.
that
Yeah,
one.
I don't that's up to you.
Oh, I kind of already said it.
Okay.
It's not a plot point or anything, but the Lucky Seven.
Yeah.
And that's what got me thinking about like I hope
got
they're
it.
gonna do something. I was looking for something if something said Burke.
Oh,
Or
got it.
something because when I saw that, that's when I was like, oh, maybe was that like a tribute to him? And then when I saw
Yeah.
the very end
Yeah.
that they
We'll show the logo for the Lucky Seven bar, but not on this one. We'll do it on our larger one because we have
Yeah.
shot glasses from the Lucky Seven bar in our cabinet here. But yeah, they also hung one of his like signature hats in the antique shop as well as a tribute to him, which is just fantastic. So yeah, it's a great ending.
there's we saw so many.
Holy cow!
There's so many Easter eggs. When they said there's like 10,000 pieces within
The
that
antique store. Yeah.
shop.
There's definitely
I
hundreds.
swear there's like probably like 4,000 probably just Pixar items because like
There's a lot.
we saw a lot.
Yeah, I mean
ton.
from early short film, you can keep your eye out for short film stuff. Keep your eye out for all the standards.
Yeah, we saw like MU, Toy Story of Terror, Toy Story of the Time Forgot, tons of shorts,
Yes.
a lot of the films.
Yeah, I mean, Craig Foster talked about the fact that there is something for every piece of Pixar projects that they've done. So that's something. But obviously, it's cool that they even did like Lucky
and
Seven.
they're stylized different.
Yeah, they're
or
very
different color.
stylized.
Like, yeah,
Yeah, it's awesome.
that's really cool.
The graphics department had their hands full on this film, much like, the Cars films, where the Cars 2, where they had to populate that whole world that looks like Times Square when they were in Japan.
Were you thinking about like, oh man, when this comes out on digital release, we're gonna just like frame by frame?
You're going to have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, every frame, you're going to have to be like, click, 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 nope, click, click, yes, click, click. I mean, it's almost like, can you do that post?
Right.
There's so
you
much.
can't, yeah, but say
mean,
some of them.
No, I'm saying like after the fact, it's like almost going to be too hard to get them.
Oh, that's what I mean. That's why you
yeah.
just do some of them.
Right. So any final thoughts on Toy Story 4?
Yes, but I can't say them.
Okay, how about just overall, like, what are your feelings
I
about
really
it?
enjoyed it. Like I said, I gave it 8.5, but I mean, I honestly think it's going to go up when I see it again.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it, and I wish we could go see it like tomorrow.
Yeah, now I have to
Like
wait
we
another
normally
7-8 days, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
Because then we have to go see it again then. But yeah, it's another beautiful chapter in the Toy Story franchise. If you were on the fence, you don't need to be. It does a great honor to the film. There are moments that make you say why. There are moments that make you say wow. There are moments that make you laugh. You're going to tear up. Did I cry as much as, because this kind of comes up a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Did I cry as much as Toy Story 3? Did you?
No, I did not, but I cried maybe, well, definitely one time, 1.5 times.
There was times where you feel the throat getting
but
thicker.
there was probably like 3 or 4 times that I like felt like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, there was definitely those moments. Did I cry as much as Toy Story 3? Not in the least. Toy Story 3, I was a sobbing mess because I was about to watch all of these characters that I've grown to love burn up in a not fancy way in a trash dump.
Yeah.
Like, if there's another film that has heartbreak or something like that, that's different than like straight up death.
Yeah.
You think the demise is coming. But yeah, I didn't cry as much as Toy Story 3, but that doesn't mean that I didn't enjoy it as much. It still
Right.
definitely had those big moments. It had moments that made you say why. Like I said, it had moments that had you laughing. So definitely, we think it's another beautiful chapter in the Toy Story franchise and definitely worthy of a visit to your theater.
Yes. I mean, we already have our tickets for opening day.
Yeah, absolutely. So
And you're going the day before.
got to see it again. Yeah, five movies in 2 days. I love it. So okay, so that's our thoughts on that. What we're gonna do is just do our intro to the interview as far as with the gang here. So it's gonna be with Stephen Karski, who's a set supervisor, Thomas Jordan, who's also a set supervisor, and Rosie Cole, who's the set's technical director. And again, this is based on a post we did on May 28th. It's called Outside the Toy Box. In this session, we learned all about the sets team and how they conceptualized and created the antique store and the carnival. There was approximately 30 people in that department. We only heard from 3 of them, but this is that interview there. So you're going to hear the interview kicking off with the daunting task of how do you create the antique store? This giant place that has to be filled with all these pieces, 10,000 as you've already mentioned,
Yeah.
10,000 elements like books and lamps and all these other things that are in
everything.
there. Everything you can imagine is there.
You can think of.
They'll talk about the building's exterior, their interior, how they came up with those tiny details like the dust, even the artificial spiders that they designed to make the cobwebs in the corners that if they had to do it themselves would have taken way too long. So,
which is very interesting.
Oh, yes. Just amazing. I mean, that blew my mind.
Yeah, same here. That was one of the things that you spoke of as soon as we talked that night.
Yeah, because it's this little red dot that they somehow or another, when you've got 2 pieces of wood that are coming together at like a junction, that they are like, yeah, that's where like a cobweb would be and how it does that. And
it's crazy how far like technology has come.
It's amazing. So, so we're going to go ahead and play that interview now. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video presentation of our review as well.
Yeah.
And be sure to stay tuned. We're going to have plenty more to come about Toy Story 4, including our full review after opening weekend.